Hello, friends and clients of JLW Immigration Law Group. I am Jennifer Walker Gates, board certified immigration attorney, and I'm here in this video to talk about when to renew your green card if it is going to expire. This is such important information because it's a question I get all the time. People are very confused about when they're supposed to file for their renewal of their green card. And if you file too early, your application can be rejected by USCIS or it can be taken in and processed, but then will be denied, and you'll lose your money and your filing fee if you filed too early. So I just want to make sure that everyone's really clear about when is the right time to file for the renewal of your card. Before I get into the topic for today, I want to ask that you please take a moment to share, subscribe, comment on our videos. I do respond to comments, so please don't hesitate to leave a question or a comment, anything that you might want to offer. I can't give legal advice in this forum, but I can definitely respond with general information that can be helpful, and I'm happy to do that without charge. We're also live on our channel every Wednesday at noon. So we go on live to answer questions live. And so join us if you have questions, quick questions that we can answer with general information without revealing too many confidences and without having to get too much into this very specifics of your case. If you do have a really specific issue, we'll probably recommend that you get a consultation. But general information is something that we're happy and glad to share with any of our viewers at any time that we're live on Wednesdays at noon. So don't miss out on that. All right, so let's talk about when it's time to renew your green card. The answer to that question is depends, of course, on what kind of green card you have, okay? If you have a 10-year green card, your renewal period begins 6 months before that card expires. You can't file the I-90 and expect to have it approved more than 6 months before that expiration date. So if you're looking at your card that's going to expire in a year or in 18 months, it's good to be aware of that. It's good to put that on your calendar and maintain that as an important date. Could be good to go ahead and talk to your lawyer if that's what you're intending to do. You don't have to use a lawyer for this. You can file Form I-90 by yourself. You can file it online. It's a pretty straightforward, I think probably the most straightforward of all the forms that we deal with USCIS, but you cannot file it more than 6 months before the expiration of your card, or your case can be rejected or denied. If you have a 2-year green card, you don't file Form I-90, you file Form I-751. This is a really important distinction. I have seen what happens when people make the mistake of filing the I-90 instead of the I-751. These things serve very different purposes. We have videos on our YouTube channel about the Form I-751 and what it's for and how it works. Please check those out. Basically, you are reproving bona fide marriage or good faith marriage when you file I-751 because you were a newlywed when your first green card for 2 years was approved. After 2 years, USCIS wants you to show evidence that that marriage that you entered into really was not for immigration purposes. So that's what I-751 does. It's a more complex type of form. It requires much more supporting evidence. Form I-90 is pretty straightforward, and the only supporting evidence that's required is a copy of your card. So 6 months if you're renewing a 10-year card, 3 months if you're renewing a 10-year or seeking to remove conditions off of the 2-year card, okay? You're not really renewing, you're removing conditions in that case. So what happens after you file the Form I-90, if that's what you're doing, if you have the 10-year card and you need to get a new 10-year card, what will happen is you will get an I-797 receipt notice from USCIS. And that right now in February of 2025, those receipt notices for Form I-90 contain an additional 36 months of extension on your green card. So if your case is pending for 36 months or less, you're covered by your receipt notice and your expired card. You can use both of those items together to show that you are still a lawful permanent resident, that you still have the right to travel, you still have the right to leave the United States and come back as a permanent resident, you still have the right to work as a permanent resident. All of the rights that apply to you with your regular green card also apply when you're using the regular green card and the receipt notice. Most of the I-90 applications that we are filing these days are getting approved within a matter of a few months. They are not taking nearly as long as they did a few years ago when the pandemic had created so many backlogs and USCIS changed their policy to extend people's cards automatically from 1 year or 12 months. It went to then 24 months and then now 36 months. Hopefully you will not be waiting 36 months. The published processing times for Form I-90 right now are definitely less than 36 months. They vary somewhat, but we are seeing I-90s getting approved and new cards getting produced within a matter of months, especially for online filings. So if you're able to file online, we definitely recommend doing that. The other receipt notice, if you're filing a Form I-751 to remove the conditions on your expiring card, on your expiring 2-year card, your I-797 receipt notice will give you 4 years of additional validity to your card. So immediately upon filing that Form I-751, you've gone from like a 2-year card to basically a 6-year card. And again, the expired card and the receipt notice can be used for up to 4 years for travel, for work, and for anything else that you need as a permanent resident. If you are watching this video in English and you are considering filing for a renewal of your I-90, in other words, you have your 10-year card and you are looking at filing Form I-90, we recommend investigating your eligibility to apply for naturalization. Do you really need to renew that green card, or could you potentially qualify for naturalization and be done with immigration forever? That would be nice, right? If you are not interested in applying for naturalization or are not eligible for any reason, and you then need to file the Form I-90, you can do that with a lawyer. You can also do it without a lawyer. A lawyer is definitely not required, just as with any case. But if you are filing I-90 because you have some kind of criminal issue, and that's why you're not applying for naturalization, then we definitely recommend consulting with an attorney before you file Form I-90. One other thing I want to say about Form I-751, for those of y'all who have the 2-year card, and then you get the receipt notice that makes your 2-year card a 6-year card, if you are still married to the U.S. citizen spouse who petitioned for you and you are still living in a happy marital union, or doesn't even have to be happy, just a committed marital union, you will be eligible to apply for naturalization 3 months before your 3rd anniversary of your resident status. So whatever date is on your 2-year card that says resident since, whatever that date is, 2 years and 9 months from that date, you're eligible to file your Form N-400 so long as you and your spouse are still married and together. It also applies in certain cases where if you're separated or divorced, the reason for that was abuse or extreme cruelty. Individuals who applied for Form I-751 based on extreme cruelty can also qualify for naturalization within that 3-year period, so long as they're not remarried. What I want to say is that if you are seeking naturalization on that 3-year basis rather than the 5-year basis that most people have to wait in order to qualify for naturalization, you don't have to wait for your I-751 to be approved before you apply. You can apply for your N-400 even if your 751 is still pending. We've seen multiple times this happen, and when you go for your naturalization interview, if your I-751 is still pending, they should be able to approve your I-751 on that same day that they are hopefully approving also your application for naturalization. The evidence that you'll need to apply based on the 3-year marriage to a U.S. citizen basis is the same kind of evidence that would support your I-751. So if you're dealing with a situation that is complicated because of any kind of criminal history, or if there was any kind of abuse or cruelty that led to a breakdown of the marriage, but you still want to try to apply for naturalization based on that 3-year qualification, please reach out to us. Those are the kinds of situations that really warrant at least getting a consultation with a trusted attorney who can help you understand what kind of evidence to provide, what to expect in your case, what to expect at your interview, etc. So I hope that this has been helpful. Again, please reach out to us if we can be of service to you. Our phone number in Austin is 512-633-1785. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Immigration Law. And yep, please stay safe, take good care. reach out to us if we can be helpful, and we will see you again very soon. Thanks.